down the raisins, the mandarina zest, your sugar, your walnuts, your honey, and your oil, okay? Now we're gonna take one side and we're gonna carefully lift it, fold it over. And this is gonna be the first side. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this one a little bit smaller. And then as you work the dough, you'll get more even ones. You're just gonna roll it like a bun. Nice and round. And there you got it. Toothpick in. I'm gonna go next one. You want to roll out this dough nice and thin. As thin as you could get it without, not to the point where it falls apart, but nice and thin. See, now this part of the dough is a little bit longer where it's stretched out, so we're gonna cut this in half, okay? And we're gonna roll this. You're gonna work pretty quick. I'll also be here all night making Pittanchuisa. This is definitely a Calabrian pastry. Comes from Calabria. And it is the most delicious thing you'll ever eat. It looks like there's simple ingredients in it, but you put these ingredients together, they marry one to another, and it makes such music in your mouth. So we're gonna fold over the next one. Okay, we're gonna cut all the way across. And I use one of these. It's an Italian cutter. You could use it on your pies and your crostata. I like it because it gives a little design at the end. And again, we're gonna cut this in half because it's very long. I don't like making these too big because I have to send these to everyone in the family. And so I have to make sure that if I do one-time dough, that I at least get to send to everybody a little something. When these come out, or halfway before they come out, I'll drizzle a little bit more honey on them. And maybe some sprinkles, little small, tiny little sprinkles like green and red for the holiday. I like to do that. These are traditionally an Italian pastry that they do at Christmas time, but in my household, we do them all year round when I'm in the mood. If I'm not in the mood, then they don't get them. And especially if they don't help. It's nice to have an extra pair of hands when you're making these. I started mixing the dough in the mixer, and then I took it to the table. Gives you a little bit of a help. See how beautiful it looks? Okay. And I'm gonna start this way in the end. Make a little small one here. My mom, she used to make these sometimes one big huge one, like a big round cake. And see, now this is too small, but what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try something different today, and I'm gonna roll this way. This is not ideal because it's open on the end, on the bottom. Okay. So now I have another piece of dough here. I have a lot of dough to get through. I'm gonna flour here. Make sure you put enough flour down, especially if you're not scraping all the time. Okay? And we're gonna stretch this out. I wish I had a rolling pin that was longer. It would be so much easier to stretch this dough. But I don't have one. I gotta find someone that, there's people that make them. Or if someone wants to send me one, let me know. Now we continue to stretch this. Ideally, you would take this, flip it over, and you would work it like this, stretching it. But this doesn't work with this rolling pin because it's too small. Okay, so here we go. Now, a lot of people take dough, they call it Pittanchuisa, because when they make all the little buns, then they put a piece like this and they cover it all around to enclose the whole thing, like a pie crust all around it. But I don't do it that way because I send them just individual. So you can see I'm rolling this out pretty thin. And it's easier to do if you make little balls out of the dough, individual balls, so that it makes it easier for you to, your workspace a little bit easier. Okay. So now we're going to start with the oil. I don't like to touch the oil too much, so I use one of these brushes. But then the honey, I put my hands all over it. If you see little specks on the dough, it's because I've been putting nuts down, so. And just keep, you want to give a nice little coat of the oil. Make sure you try to reach all the way to the end, okay, so that all your cookies come out consistent in flavor. All right, so I think that's good there. And now I'm going to put out what I like to do with the honey, I like to go sort of like this, okay? Just makes it easier to spread. I'm just gonna spread it with your hand. My hands are clean, I wash them constantly. If you guys see my videos, you know that I don't like stuff on my hands. I'm very like OCD about that, so it drives me crazy. If you take one finger, see how nice it spreads? Easy that way. And you wanna go to the end so that everything is consistent. Okay, now we're gonna put down, I'm just gonna rinse my hands real quick, because you guys know I can't stand with my hands like that. Okay, we're gonna do sugar. And you guys could find your method if you use a shaker or something to put your sugar down, or use your hands. But I'm constantly washing my hands and drying, and if I don't dry real good, then it sticks to my hands, and then I'm all over again with that issue of washing my hands every second, so. Okay. Then your cinnamon. I'm trying to make sure I get the ends. Okay. Then we're gonna do the nuts. If you put your stuff in order, you won't forget anything. Okay. And that noise you hear is my oven's ready for the first batch to go in. And now I'm gonna put in the mandarine. toss your raisins, and then you're back to rolling, okay? You wanna bake these at 350 so they're nice and golden brown. Just before you take them out, you could drizzle a little honey on top, put them back in for about five minutes or so, just for that to bake into the crust, into the dough. Okay, and that's it, you got it. It's a wrap. Just gonna fold it over, cut, and roll. I enjoy making these videos. Make sure that you guys like, follow, and invite people to the page to show your support. That's the only way I know that you guys are liking the videos. Again, I want to thank everyone that has been following and sharing the page. I appreciate it. Okay. That's a nice big one. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you guys, like I said, enjoying these recipes and these little short shots of how to make the Pittanchuisa. There's other videos that I made of Pittanchuisa you can find on YouTube. Again, thank you so much. Happy holidays. Okay. Otro, se me voy a poner el toothpick